So this is part one of our new Homesteading on a Budget series. So today we are going to be talking about finding affordable land. So before we get started in how to find affordable land, we first have to talk about the rising cost when it comes to land. So when you start to think about the rising cost of land, it makes you wonder what is driving that increase in the price of land. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go all the way back 5 years back to 2020. Everyone remembers 2020 during the pandemic. During 2020 and directly right after, we as a community experience what is called the pandemic era race for space. Basically, that is a direct result of us being cooped up in the house, understanding how reliant we were on the government. And so it kind of opened up people's eyes and made them realize, like, hey, if this ever happened again, this is a situation that we're going to be on. So rather than do that, we're going to go out, we're going to buy our own land, we're going to be self sufficient, we're going to basically control our own destinies and make it so that we don't get stuck in that same situation again. So when you couple that mindset together along with the uptick in purchases of land, of course, that's going to lead to price increases. So, raw land sales weren't the only thing that was affected by that pandemic era race for space. When you're looking at farmland sales, the 2023 numbers versus how much that same land was selling for in 2024, you'll notice that there is about a $200 per acre increase in farmland sales as well. So even farmland real estate is seeing that increase. So now that we all know why the cost of land is increasing, now let's dive into finding affordable land. So there's many different outlets for you to use in order to find land that you can build your homestead on. So one of the first things that we're going to be talking about is online real estate platforms that you can use to help yourself find lands. It's great to use a real estate platform because they allow you to get pretty specific in a short amount of time for what you're looking for. So you can go ahead and you can go onto those websites and you can define your search criteria. You can put in the location, the price you're looking for, and then also the size of the piece of land that you're looking for as well. And so some of those online platforms that are at your disposal are realtor.com, Zillow, land.com, landwatch.com, and there are so many other ones out there as well. Now, I do have a video on my channel if you go to the informational section of my page where I do list where we found our land on. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link the video so that you guys can go ahead and watch that one. Another way that you can find affordable land is networking with local real estate agents. Real estate agents who are local to that area, that are confident and comfortable and know the inner and outer workings of that area and in land sales. In order to connect with the real estate agents, you can attend industry events, you can reach out to them on social media, or you can just simply visit the local offices in that area. Usually, in especially small rural areas, there is typically a brick and mortar real estate agent office where you can go in there and they will know every single piece of land that is up for grabs and all the information that you would need about them. Now, if you are someone who is familiar with the land buying process and you are comfortable to do more of the buying process on your own, you can also explore government programs and also land auctions. You can research federal agencies like the BLM, that's the Bureau of Land Management, and also the GSA, which is the General Services Administration. Also, there are some state agencies that can be contacted as well. Like, for example, in Arizona, we have a state land department that handles land sales and auctions for land that's in the state of Arizona. Between those different ways that we just mentioned on how you can find land, there, of course, are going going to be some great affordable options in there for you. And two of those ways are things that you can do yourself, where you get to save money because you're not having to pay a realtor. So you can really get in there and you can do your own research, doing your own work, and that will save you a lot of money. All you're doing is you're just trading your time. Next, we're going to be talking about tips for securing affordable land. When you find the piece of land that you have fallen in love with, one of the things is that you want to make sure you're not afraid to negotiate with the sellers. Nothing is ever set in stone, and the worst that you're going to hear is no. So if you never ask, you never know. So you might as well just figure out, what your budget is, see what they'll work with. Now, one of the things is that you want to make sure before you go in and you start negotiating, you want to make sure you've already done your research for the land, your research for the area, and you also want to make sure that you have a full understanding of the land that you're buying and also the market trends for that area. So you know what you should be paying versus what they're selling it for, so that you don't end up coming in with a lowball offer that is not going to be accepted. So just make sure you educate yourself before you go in there and start throwing numbers on the table. Now, say that you're someone whose finances at this moment in time don't directly align with being able to purchase land. What a lot of people don't know is that there are some loopholes into buying land where the money that you do have can stretch a little bit further. So there are what they call alternative land ownership models. So I went ahead and put together two of those for you today so that we can take a look into them. So the first one is going to be called a community land trust. This is also abbreviated as a CLTS. So pretty much what that is, it's a nonprofit that owns land, and what they do is they lease it out to either individuals or a group to help maintain the affordability of the land, so that they don't have big corporations coming in, buying up the land and turning it into these big industrial areas. So one fun fact about the CLTS is that it actually emerged during the civil rights movement. It was originally created to help rural Black farmers secure land, and then after the years it later gained traction in urban areas to help combat gentrification. So that is something that you can look into. A second alternative would be a resident owned community. So that is a ROC. So in a ROC, residents collectively own the land. So basically a bunch of people get together, they purchase the land together, and they build a community, which also helps create a sense of shared ownership and responsibilities. Also, on the end of alternative land ownership models, there is, of course, which a lot of people know about, which is the seller financing option, where the person who is selling the land is willing to put you on a payment plan and you just make payments until you get the land paid off. And then there is also a lease purchase program that you can take a look into as well. We have now talked about why the price of land is increasing. We've looked at some affordable ways to find land, and we also went over tips for securing affordable land, as well as some alternative land ownership models that you can take part in if buying the land yourself is not an option for you. So with all that information, we hope that it helps you along in your homestead and land buying journey. And if you haven't already, make sure you go over to the channel, because we do have two other videos that will help you along with your journey to homestead, which is our how to research land and property before buying it, and then also our other video for some of the best sites that we thought would be beneficial to help you in buying land. So we hope that you enjoyed this video. We hope that you got some good information out of it, and we will see you in another one.